This is one of the most difficult videos I've had to make. 2 weeks ago, I was diagnosed with a neurological disease called myalgic encephalomyelitis. This disease has affected every aspect of my life, including riding mountain bikes. And today I'd like to take some time to talk about what I've been going through lately. So I apologize in advance for the heavy nature of this video. This video is just a talking video, not much to see here, so feel free to listen to it like a podcast as you go about your daily chores. I put a lot of thought and prep into this video, and I've actually written my thoughts down so that I could stay organized and stay on topic, so please forgive me as I read from my notes. I hope it doesn't interfere with the personal nature of this content. Hardtail Party is all about the love of riding hardtail mountain bikes. I choose to focus on the bikes and not my personal life. However, today we're putting bikes on that back burner, and I'm going to focus on talking about some of these personal challenges I've been going through because they've affected every aspect of my life, including how I ride mountain bikes. In many ways, the internet and social media have made the world a better, smaller, and kinder place. However, people seem to be more divided and critical of others than ever. The anonymous nature of YouTube comments opens a door for people to say things they would never say in person. It's created a way for people to belittle, bully, and attack other people. So many of my interactions on YouTube and Instagram have been incredibly positive. I've met some of my best friends on this platform, and I've made some of the best memories of my life with people through this channel. Unfortunately, like all other content creators, I've been the victim of unkindness, personal attacks, cruelty, and bullying. I've been able to tune out the majority of these comments, but every now and then, one gets through and stings and sticks with me and erodes my self-worth and confidence. I realize that I don't look like a fit mountain biker. I'm not skinny, I don't look like a roadie, and I get a lot of comments about my appearance. People criticizing my weight, making fun of me, saying they can't trust my reviews because I'm a fatty, or why aren't you skinnier for how much you ride? Comments like this come in weekly. I've grown a thicker skin through the years, and these comments reveal more about the commenter than they do about me. But I hope that today's video will remind people that there's so much more going on in people's lives than what you see on YouTube. As I prepared this video, I contemplated whether it'd be worth opening up and being vulnerable. In the end, I came to the conclusion that if this video helps just one person, it'll be worth it. The purpose for my video today is to offer hope to those who are going through difficult struggles, especially those struggling with myalgic encephalomyelitis or similar diseases. So today I'm going to be extremely candid and open about things that I've never shared before. All I ask in return is for some respect, even if our viewpoints differ. For years now, I've been struggling with a variety of health issues. I haven't talked about them on the channel because this channel is about hardtails, not Steve's health. But it's getting worse, and it's affecting my ability to ride hardtails the way I used to. So let me talk about some of the symptoms and tell you the story of how this all developed, because I have a feeling someone else out there watching is going through the same things and they don't know what's wrong with them. And this might be able to resonate with them and they can realize, hey, maybe that's what's going on and you can look into it further. This disease, myalgic encephalomyelitis, is very misunderstood. Many doctors don't know very much about it. It's very underfunded. We have more questions than we have answers. And so if me sharing my experience can help someone else, it's all worth it. So for the past few years, especially when riding my bike, I've been noticing some symptoms in my body that weren't normal. On the clunker challenge, I got this really bad knee pain. And I thought, well, maybe I stressed my knee, or maybe the coaster brake's screwing me up, or maybe it's the single speed or that hard gearing. I'm sure none of those things helped, but my right knee was starting to have extreme pain when riding. And I just felt like I'm completely damaging my knee when I ride on that ride. So I'd take some time off, recuperate, get back on a geared bike, stop riding single speed. Single speeding was giving me some knee pain. And we've all heard stories about single speeding causing knee pain. So I just thought, well, I guess that's life. It was only in one knee, which I thought was kind of weird. I would alternate which foot I coasted with forward, and that would help a little bit. But I just thought it was overuse of muscles or improper stretching or something like that. I went to a physical therapist. He couldn't find anything wrong with me. He just told me to stretch and to stop riding single speeds. So I stopped that for a little while. And then I started noticing on my longer rides, like 3 or 4 hour rides, I was getting knee pain with gears. And I thought, man, that just doesn't seem normal. And it persisted for a year and a half, 2 years. On my bike packing trips, I would notice it especially because those, we're doing 50-mile days, day after day after day. On one particular ride, the Tombstone Hustle, I was with my buddies Cody and James in southern Arizona, the town of Tombstone. It wasn't a huge ride, like a 70 mile across 2 days, but I got this unbearable knee pain by the end of the ride. And I felt like I was destroying my knees to finish the last 10 miles. It was excruciating. And I knew it was more than just sore muscles and lack of fitness, because I've been riding quite a bit. So it took me a long time to recover from that. And so I was just keeping my eye on this knee pain and just watching it as I rode. Throughout all of this, I've had an awful immune system. Anytime a sickness sweeps through the area, I'm the first to catch it. I'm the last to kick it. My immune system's just worn out. You can hear it right now. I caught a little cold that was going through, and I just cannot shake it. My body has a terrible immune system. I've been having a lot of brain fog, just having a hard time staying focused and staying on task. In addition to the knee pain, I was starting to feel exhausted after rides. I used to ride 4 to 5 days a week, and these were, 2-hour rides every day, and I didn't have muscle pain. Yeah, I'd be tired by the weekend, but I'd recover just fine. But lately, a 2-hour ride's been extremely exhausting, and it's been taking me 4 or 5 days to recover from it. And I knew this wasn't normal. I ride with friends much older than me, who ride less than me, who have no pain and are in better shape. And I just felt like the lactic acid in my muscles never left. I just felt like I had some sort of disorder where lactic acid stays in your legs for a week after a ride. And I knew it wasn't normal. And I knew with how much I was riding, I shouldn't be experiencing this compared to what my other friends were experiencing. I remember talking to my buddy Cody and just saying, I don't know what's wrong with me, but something is seriously wrong. Something systemic, like something's way off. We go bike packing and we only put in 20 miles on day one, and I can barely walk out of bed the next day. Something is off. I've been having skin issues, really bad skin flare-ups. I've been having back pain, like every vertebrae in my back has just been killing. Joint pain. I thought I was getting arthritis. I did some blood work, went to the dermatologist, went to my doctor to try to find out if I have arthritis. And a lot of arthritis is just a case of eliminating, all these tests that say what it isn't. And if you can't describe what it is, it's probably arthritis. I had inflammation in my body. You can tell my body looks super swollen all the time. I've had unexplained weight gain. I weigh 180. I'm not massive. I'm 5'6". 180 is not morbidly obese, but my body's just inflamed and puffy all the time. I had headaches. I had irritable bowels. I questioned if I was going crazy because I couldn't put my finger on what was causing these or what it was. And there were so many issues. I just thought, maybe I'm just a wimp and I'm getting old and everything hurts. I hear when you get older, your body just starts hurting. But I thought, I don't see the correlation between skin issues and irritable bowel and headaches and quads that are just sore for 4 or 5 days with lactic acid in them. I just could not figure out what was going on. At one point, I'd convinced myself this was dietary and I was allergic to gluten. I cut gluten out for a couple weeks. It seemed to help. And then it came right back and I could not figure it out. I thought, well, maybe I'm allergic to something else that I don't know about. Back and forth with doctors and tests, and we could not find anything. I had some of the doctors tell me that it was more in my mind than in reality, and that wasn't very helpful, but that's what a lot of doctors say with a lot of this stuff. Eventually, I started exploring autoimmune diseases and thinking maybe I have an autoimmune disease where my body's just attacking myself. I'm low on energy. I'm susceptible to every sickness that comes by. I'm inflamed. I'm swollen. My body just hurts everywhere. I just can't move very easily. At one point, I thought I had something really serious like cancer or multiple sclerosis or something like this. I knew something was systemically wrong with me, but I didn't know what it was. And my doctors up to that point had not been able to diagnose it. It's been tough finding good doctors here. All the good doctors are booked out about 9 months. So I've been on the wait list for a couple of them to wait to get in. But even those doctors haven't been able to pinpoint what's going on with me. I remember on a bikepacking trip, I was talking to Cody, just trying to explain what my body was going through and trying to convince him that I wasn't crazy and that I wasn't just a wimp and that I really was trying hard to keep up with him. Cody's 8 years younger than me. He's in excellent fitness. He's a pro single-speed national champion. He is built for biking, and his body does not respond the same way mine does to a ride. So I remember just telling him when I wake up in the morning, I hobble around the house for the first 15 minutes. I look like I'm 90 years old and I need a cane. I just feel like my body's falling apart and I have no idea why. And this is more than just getting older, because I'm only 8 years older than you, Cody, and I feel like I'm 40 years older than you. So I'm in my 40s. I ride carefully and avoid injury and dangerous things so I can keep riding well into my 70s. But something's not working, and the more I ride, the worse this seems to get. My symptoms were sporadic. I couldn't tell what was causing them. Some days I felt fine, and some days I felt absolutely awful and could barely get out of bed. I had no idea why. It felt like I was playing Russian roulette, and every morning I didn't know if I'd wake up completely exhausted or feeling fine, ready to take on another 50-mile ride. It was really hard talking about it with friends because I didn't have the vocabulary or expertise to explain what was going on. It was so inconsistent and all over the place that I couldn't explain it very well. My symptoms seemed to be everything. It was hard to feel like people took me seriously because I doubted my own self-diagnosis so much because it just sounded crazy. I'm a pretty open person in my personal life, in my face-to-face life with my friends in real life. I share what's going on. I'm pretty open. I talk about my feelings a lot. But I found myself unable to talk about this because I didn't have the vocabulary to describe what was going on. And sharing it with other people didn't seem to help. They were just as stumped as I was. They had no idea what was going on, and I had no idea either. I just knew what it felt like. It was a very lonely time. My wife noticed it too, and she said, "You're not crazy. I'm seeing these things in you, and something is seriously wrong. We need to get you help." Eventually, I found myself completely out of energy, only being able to work 2 to 4 hours a day, and it took me a 2-hour nap just to make it through the day energy-wise. A 90-minute bike ride was extremely exhausting. It took me 5 to 6 days to recover. Lately, I found myself only riding bikes when I need to review a hardtail. I don't have enough spare energy to enjoy riding in my spare time. I was down to riding once a week when I used to ride 4 or 5 times a week, and it was only for work and usually under 90 minutes to get that review out. My wife noticed these symptoms too, and she was seriously concerned and said, "Steve, I want you to live a long and full life with me, and we're not on that trajectory. Something's seriously wrong, and we need to find out what's wrong with you." Tess is the girl of my dreams. She's my favorite riding partner, my best friend, and my biggest support. We're a team, and she stood by me through all of this and listened to countless hours of me describing what I'm feeling and trying to brainstorm with me what might be happening. Together, we resolved to search harder and harder until we found some answers. Now, I realize how taboo it is to talk about faith and God online. I don't mean to be divisive or to force my beliefs on someone else, but I simply can't tell this story without mentioning God and acknowledging his help in this challenge. We're used to hearing God's name in vain laced with profanity. Today, I ask for a bit of tolerance from those who don't believe in God. I hope you can tolerate me talking about my God with respect and gratitude. So through all of these challenges for all these years, my wife and I have turned to God in prayer together, praying for help to find some answers and a diagnosis for what's going on. I prayed for strength and energy to keep Hardtail Party going through all this pain and lack of energy so I could keep providing for my family financially. Eventually, we found some answers to our prayers through our good friends Dave and Hillary. Dave's a great riding buddy. He's been on this channel a few times. He's been through his battles with cancer and has emerged cancer-free. His wife, Hillary, has also been through hell. For almost a decade, she struggled to find a diagnosis for her Lyme's disease. After years of no answers and terrible symptoms, lack of energy, and some doctors telling her it was all in her head, she finally found a doctor who was willing to take her seriously and go to the ends of the earth to find out what was wrong with her. Hillary's making a strong recovery, and she's now helping other people on their health journey. Dave and Hillary have been a huge support to my wife and me. Because of what they'd been through, they can empathize in a way that others can't. They were able to listen to me and understand. They don't think I'm crazy. They don't know what's wrong with me, but they know it's real, and they know it's affecting me. They didn't think I was being a hypochondriac or blowing things out of proportion. They took me seriously and listened with compassion and interest. No doubt their own experiences with medical challenges and uncertainty and having to make drastic life changes to accommodate their illnesses have put them in a position to be excellent listeners and to help support other people who are struggling. I hope that I can be more like them through this experience, where I can understand other people better through their difficulties. Dave and Hillary's friendship and understanding has been one of the biggest strengths and helps I received through this entire challenge. In addition to providing emotional support, my friends Dave and Hillary recommended a world-class doctor who's been able to diagnose what's wrong with me in record time. To me, this feels like an answer to prayer for all these years when we've been searching for some sort of answer. On the first visit with this doctor, she listened to my symptoms. She listened for a full hour of everything I was going through. My wife was there. My wife validated, and she was able to provide some context that I couldn't. And the doctor took us seriously and listened. She had a pretty good idea in her head what was going on, but she said, I'm not going to diagnose you till I see some lab results. So she ordered about 20 different blood tests for me, and I rescheduled to come back a month later. In the meantime, she said, you need to rest. No more riding your bike. No more big physical exertion. And I said, you don't understand. Riding bikes is my life. It's my source of income. I can't just stop riding bikes. That's how I put food on the table for my family. And it's my love and my passion and my main pastime. Good thing she had no idea that I rode hardtails, because she really would have told me to stop riding, because hardtails beat you up more than full suspensions do. She said, your body needs you to stop. I'd like you to take up swimming because it's lower impact, and don't ride for the next month. I appreciated her advice and told her I would tone down my cycling. 2 weeks later, I had a big 80-mile, 2-day ride with my buddies from the Grand Canyon to the Utah border. In fact, Dan Stanton from the UK was coming over to ride with us, his first time to the US, to ride this trail with us. I was not going to cancel that trail, but I agreed to let off the bike riding for a while so I could recuperate a little bit, and I took it easy in preparation for that ride. A month later, I checked in again with my doctor for a repeat visit. We reviewed my blood work, and it confirmed what she suspected. She said, Steve, the good news is I know what's wrong with you. The bad news is the diagnosis is a bit of a tough pill to swallow. She looked me in the eyes and said, Steve, you have a neurological disease called myalgic encephalomyelitis. I'd never heard of this. I had no idea what it was. Sounded like fibromyalgia a little bit, but it's not the same thing. It hadn't quite hit me yet. I was really excited to have found a doctor that took me seriously enough to search and search and search until she found this diagnosis. I was grateful she didn't think I was crazy. She listed the symptoms of this condition and they fit me to a T. That matched with the blood work that was off the scale for how high I measured on some of these things, just confirmed that this diagnosis was correct. So I was so happy to have a diagnosis, and I started saying, excellent, now we know what we can work toward. She said it's often called chronic fatigue syndrome as well, or CFS. So people refer to this condition as ME/CFS. I had a lot of questions for her, and she patiently shared each of the answers with me that I'll now share with you. The medical field doesn't know very much about ME/CFS. It's poorly studied, and it doesn't have much funding. An estimated 25% of ME/CFS patients are homebound or bedbound. As many as 75% of them are unable to work. Recovery rates of ME/CFS are about 5%. And among those 5% that do recover, many never feel like they're fully recovered, but they're managing the symptoms quite well. So she explained to me that this would more than likely be with me for the rest of my life. There's no treatment, there is no cure, there's no medication that specifically works for it. It's an individualized disease. Everybody's symptoms are slightly different. It affects everybody slightly differently, and the treatments are slightly different from person to person. This is a very misunderstood disease, and very few doctors are even aware of it and how to diagnose it correctly. In fact, there are less than 25 recognized experts in the United States. It's a tough thing to learn about. So I'd like to talk a little bit more about ME/CFS to help educate you, especially those of you that might be suffering with it without knowing. The CDC estimates about 900,000 to 2.5 million Americans suffer from ME/CFS. However, most of them have not been diagnosed, like I hadn't been for years and years and years. Most doctors aren't familiar with it, and they don't know how to properly diagnose it. Without more breakthroughs in this front, this disease will be with me forever. I could tell from the look in my doctor's eyes that this wasn't a small setback. There was a heaviness to each message that she delivered, and she wanted to make sure I took ME/CFS seriously. I didn't quite know how to take it seriously because I didn't know much about it, but the more we talked, the more I started to understand. She really drove home the fact that almost every aspect of my life would need to change. She explained that this is a systemic disease and that it starts in my brain, but affects every cell in my body. That's why my back and my knees and my head and even my fingers hurt when I was exhausted. So what is ME/CFS? I'm not an expert. I've only had 2 weeks to learn about this, and I've done a lot of research, but there's so much more to learn. Don't use this as medical advice. This is just me sharing what I've found. I'm sure as time goes on, we will have a better understanding of this disease, and maybe some of the things I share will be corrected with better knowledge, but this is the best that I understand about it right now. People with ME/CFS have a defective body battery, I'm going to call it. Like a new laptop. When you buy a new laptop, you plug it in, and the best battery life you're ever going to get is your first week using your laptop, right? Most people start the day refreshed with a fully charged body battery to get through the day, or the amount of energy you have to get through tasks. As you go through the day, certain things drain your energy and drain your body battery. A stressful meeting, a hard workout, an argument, lots of work. These things drain the amount of energy you have to deal with the day. On an especially exhausting day, a healthy person may drain their entire body battery. When they go to sleep at night, their body's recharged and ready for the next day. Battery back to 100%. People with ME/CFS like me have a reduced body battery capacity, and our charging system takes 4 to 5 times longer than a healthy person. My doctor explained to me that my body battery had been completely drained for years. And despite my drive to just push through the hard workouts or the hard rides or the long climbs and just push harder and say, shut up, body, we're just going to work harder and, summon the inner Rocky inside of us and just dig a little deeper, that this behavior was actually hurting me and causing my health to crash even faster. So if a healthy person has a 100% body battery capacity each day, I'm closer to a 20%. She explained that I would have to learn to cut 80% of my daily mental, emotional, and physical stresses in my life out, or I would continue to suffer pain, exhaustion, and extreme fatigue for the rest of my life. When you're on a road trip, driving across states, and it's late and it's tired, but you say, I'm just going to drive 2 more hours to get to that next checkpoint or the next gas station or whatever. Or when you're doing yard work and it's hot, and you're tired and you'd love to take a break, but if you just stick it out and slug it out and push it for 2 more hours, you can get the job done quicker. That's how I was raised, to just work harder, stick it out, stop complaining, and just grit your teeth and push a little harder until it's done. I've been doing that for years, both physically and mentally. For the majority of my videos that I edit on this channel, I'm up till 2 or 3 a.m. trying to finish the edit just to get it out in time so I can upload it to YouTube and get it out by 6 a.m. that morning. This behavior and this way of life has taken its toll on me physically and emotionally. My brain tells me, push through it, just get the job done, stop complaining, push the pain aside. Pain is temporary, glory is forever. We've all heard that. But my body's saying, I've got nothing left to give, brain. Please make it stop. Usually my brain wins and I just push through, ignore my body, ignore the pain, and just get the task done. But I pay for it dearly in the days to come. A simple 90-minute bike ride when I review a hardtail takes me 4 to 5 days to recharge my battery just back to that 20% I was at before. I'm not getting back to 100% ever. I feel like an old laptop with a dead battery that can't stay on for more than 20 minutes unplugged. I've worn my system out so much by burning the candle at both ends that my body's giving up and it's completely exhausted. Even simple tasks like replying to emails for a couple hours a day can leave me feeling drained and exhausted and out of energy to complete the other tasks in the day. Filming and scripting this video took 90% of the energy I had to offer this day. I'm going to have to take a nap after filming this and hopefully recover a little bit of strength to greet my daughter when she comes home from school and save that last 10% of energy I've got left today with her to make memories with her. So patients with ME/CFS suffer from something called post-exertion malaise. When we exert too much, whether it be mental, emotional, physical, or a combination of the 3, we deplete our body battery and crash. It's similar to bonking on a bike ride when you're just riding and you hit this wall and your energy just drops out from underneath you. Only in this case, I don't have a goo or an energy gel or a shot block to eat to restore my sugar and get my body back into a healthy place to keep pushing. I feel like I'm just pushing when I'm bonked all the time. These crashes send my brain into overdrive and engage the fight or flight response. And it puts my brain on high alert, kind of frantically looking out for any potential stress that might stress me out further. Now that's a self-defeating activity because I need calm and peace, not hypervigilance. but that's how the body reacts to these crashes. So then my body's looking for the slightest stress, and it just amplifies that. So that means smaller and smaller things cause me to crash sooner and sooner. My cells are completely depleted. Every cell in my body is just run down and tired. Those with ME/CFS get body pains, aches, headaches, lack of refreshing sleep. And the next day we're even more depleted than we realize, and we're starting with a drained battery all over again. Every time someone with ME/CFS pushes through their energy supply and crashes, they do physical damage to their body similar to smoking or drinking. It harms our body. This is referred to the push and crash cycle. We push through our tasks, say, shut up, body, pain is temporary, glory is forever, I got to get this done. I'll deal with the consequences of the pain later, I'm just going to push through this. And then we do deal with the consequences when we crash, and then we never fully recover, and then we have to push through the next one and crash, and it's just this cycle. And every crash makes the next one sooner to come on, and every crash damages your body and is harming it. We don't restore fast enough for the tasks that come the next day, and we start the day with a severely depleted battery, and so it's a downward spiral. So we crash again and again and again. With the majority of people with ME/CFS not being diagnosed, they have no idea what's going on, and they're getting jerked around by their body's response. That's what I was going through. I thought it was diet. I thought it was because I was single speeding. I thought it was because I did 2 days in a row. I thought it was because of stress in some of my other areas of life. It was all of those things combining together. To a lot of people, this sounds like no big deal. It just sounds like I'm worn out and tired, and people with ME/CFS should just sleep it off or take a nice vacation and restore their body battery. One of the hardest aspects of this disorder is that many people who suffer from it aren't taken seriously. If anyone out there listening has similar symptoms, or you've been diagnosed with ME/CFS, or someone you love has been, please know that you're not crazy, and I understand how you feel on some level. You're not alone, and these feelings are extremely valid and extremely lonely and extremely confusing. This disease is not to be taken lightly. I hope I'm able to bring some awareness to this disease and help someone out there who may be suffering from this unknowingly. I've been able to talk with some friends who've been diagnosed with ME/CFS, and many of them still haven't recovered decades later. A few lucky people have recovered most of their strength after 2 to 5 years of intense therapy and treatments to restore their health. I was hoping there was going to be a quick reset drug or a treatment that could swap my battery out for a more higher capacity battery that could handle this. Unfortunately, where we are right now, there is no quick fix. This news has been a big challenge for me. I realize there are people out there struggling with much heavier matters. And I don't want to diminish their suffering or compare who has it worse. But I do want to take a minute to share what I'm feeling. First of all, I'm extremely grateful. I'm grateful to have a diagnosis of what's happening to me and why. I'm grateful that I'm able to function as well as I am. Most people with ME/CFS have it way worse than me. I'm grateful that I'm not bedbound. I'm grateful I've been able to find a wonderful doctor who was able to diagnose this. I'm so grateful for my supportive wife and life partner who's with me through this. I'm grateful for my little daughter who prays for me at night that God will help heal me so I won't be sick anymore, so I can be more present in her life. I'm grateful I've been able to make a living making videos about hardtails. The flexibility of this job has been essential for me to be able to deal with ME/CFS undiagnosed. I never could have held down a regular 9-to-5 job through all of this. I'm grateful to God for guiding me through this career and being able to make ends meet through this all. When I was diagnosed with ME/CFS, so was my wife by association. What I mean is this diagnosis affects her every bit as much as it affects me. She may not be the one feeling fatigued, but she deals with it on a daily basis too. It's been difficult to watch her take on extra burdens. It's been hard watching her take care of the yard, lift heavy things, drive me places when I don't have the energy to drive, and run our daughter around when I'm too exhausted to accompany them. It's been difficult to watch her suffer because of my sickness. It's not fair to her, and she doesn't deserve this. But she's never once complained or made me feel guilty. She's the greatest partner I could ask for. She helps with a smile, and she loves me. That's what marriage is all about, helping each other out through thick and thin, rich and poor, sickness and health. We've been married for 18 years, and she's always been there for me, by my side, helping me. It's been really lonely to have ME/CFS, especially undiagnosed. Many people had no idea I was suffering with anything, and those that did know I was suffering couldn't possibly understand what was going on and offered their best support, and I'm grateful for them for that. It's difficult for me to ask for help for things that I used to be able to do on my own. I'm learning to be more open and ask for assistance from friends and neighbors. They're happy to help, and I'm learning to receive help from others more easily. My biggest concern right now is how I'm going to be able to provide for my family. I have lots of skills, but I poured my whole heart and soul into Hardtail Party. Hardtail Party is my only source of income. It's how I put food on the table and pay the electric bill. I feel a profound sense of duty to provide financially for my family and make sure they have what they need. I'm concerned that this diagnosis may impact my ability to bring income in for my family. It makes me sad that I'm not able to ride bikes as often as I used to be able to. Bikes have been a part of my life for over 30 years now. Riding bikes has taught me so much and helped me in life. Bikes have provided some of my favorite memories, lessons, development, and friendships. I have hope, though, that one day I'll be able to ride again without feeling fatigued for days and days. I'm not sure when it will be, but I look forward to that day when I have more strength than I've had for years on the bike. So in the past 2 weeks of this diagnosis, I've learned a few things already. I've been reminded of what really matters in life. Bikes are wonderful, but bikes are not the most important thing in life. Every morning I get up and make a list of everything I have to accomplish in the day. Then I realize I only have energy for 20% of it. And I prioritize, of all of those things, what are the 20% that really matter at the end of the day? The things that matter most to me are my faith and my relationship with God, my relationship with my wife, and my relationship with my daughter. Then bikes. Bikes are still on that list. They're important to me. But those other things come first. The future's uncertain, and I have more questions than I have answers at this point. But my faith gives me great hope. I know I'm going to be okay. The life ahead of me is not the life I've been planning on having. I'm going to have to change some things, many things in my life. I put my life in God's hands and I surrender my will to Him. Whatever He wants for me, I will do. I know this is a little bit preachy. Please bear with me. I've had real tangible experiences with God in my life. My most difficult moments in life bring me closer to Him. I have a relationship with Him. He is as real to me as anything I've ever encountered. He gives me strength when I'm worried and concerned. I don't know what the future holds for me, what Hardtail Party is going to look like in a couple years, or what my health is going to look like in a couple years. But I do know that God will guide me through whatever challenges lie ahead. And this gives me immense hope and peace despite so many questions. I believe that everything happens for a purpose. And with all the sadness that comes with this, I'm actually excited for the growth opportunity ahead, for all the things I'm going to grow and learn through this experience that I couldn't learn in any other way. I feel like God will teach me and shape me into a better person through this experience. I know that when one door closes, often another door opens, and I'm looking for those open doors in my life. I don't know what the future looks like, but I'm optimistic and looking forward to the learning experience ahead. So what does all of this mean for Hardtail Party? I'm not sure. I don't know what my health is going to be like in 1 month or 6 months or 2 years. But one thing is for sure, I have no plans on stopping this great channel. We have an amazing community. Hardtails are better than ever, and I'll keep doing all I can to let you know which ones are worth getting and which ones you should avoid. I've got some really exciting video projects coming up that you're going to love. They don't involve riding, so I can still do them while I'm recuperating. They're educational. They're much requested, and I know there's a big need for it in the world. I can't wait to reveal that to you. Hardtail Party continues. It won't feel much different from your side. There might be fewer riding reviews for a little bit as I work through my health issues, but I've actually filmed over 40 videos right now that haven't been edited. They're just sitting on my hard drive already filmed. A lot of those are reviews, so I'm going to work through them and keep releasing them. So on your end, it's still going to feel the same. You're still going to see reviews, still going to see normal Hardtail Party content. Patreon's not going anywhere. I'm still around to help answer Patreon questions, help you pick the perfect bike for you. Every little patron helps. That's a great way for me to be able to keep the momentum and put food on the table for my family and help you avoid buying an awful bike. So yes, I'm passionate about Hardtail Party, and I have no plans on winding it down. I want to keep it going strong, stronger than ever. I'm going to have to change the way I do a few things, but that's okay. Every business has to change and roll with the times. I'm going to have to cut my riding back significantly. But as I keep an eye on my energy throughout the day, I can definitely notice now, and I'm listening to my body more and recognizing, oh, that's draining me. That's draining me. Oh, it's 2 o'clock. I'm about done for the day. I need to just read a book, watch a movie, and just rest so that I can handle tomorrow. And it's been helping by looking at it through this new eye of my diagnosis. I'm able to preserve my body more and not crash every single day. I'm going to try small rides out from time to time gently to see how my body reacts to them. My health comes first. I'm of no use to anybody reviewing bikes if I'm completely wiped out. And so my health comes first, but you better believe I'm excited to be riding for my own mental health and to put out great videos as well. So I'm going to be experimenting to see how I can reincorporate riding back into my life. When I do ride in the near future, it's probably going to be on a full suspension so my body doesn't take such a beating. But the goal is to get back to hardtails. Believe me, I'd much rather be on a hardtail than a full suspension anyway. But I got to take baby steps to getting back to where I can complete a ride. Eventually, I hope to be able to get to the point where I can kick out a hardtail review a week like I have in the past and kick out some new reviews. I've got about 10 hardtails right now sitting in the shop that I haven't ridden and reviewed that I'm really excited to get out there. But we're going to need a little bit of patience while my body recuperates enough to be able to do that. So I know some of you are chomping at the bit to hear about a couple of these. We're just going to have to wait until I can ride them. And I'm sorry about that, but I'll get to them as soon as I can. My Patreon service continues. I love working with people and sharing my knowledge and expertise of all the different bikes I've ridden and helping you select the right bike or build up your frame with the perfect parts. I love that aspect of my job. I'll be totally transparent. So here on YouTube, I get about 260,000 views a month on my videos. And that brings in about $1,800 pre-tax. That sounds pretty awesome, right? Well, that's 30 hours of filming and editing a week for about 20 grand a year. Not great. I could make more working at McDonald's. And so I rely on Patreon to be able to make ends meet. I'm so appreciative to all my patrons who've signed up for the service and put it to use. I love working with my patrons. You guys are awesome. I can't tell you how thankful I am for your support to be able to do this. I couldn't do it without my patrons. Literally, this channel would not exist, or it'd be a hobby where I'd release a hardtail video every 2 months, and that's about it, because I'd have to take up a full-time job somewhere else. And YouTube alone does not pay enough to make this job worth it. So I rely heavily on my patrons. So thank you so much for each one of you. So this video is not about a sympathy plea, or I'm not trying to create drama and stir up drama on my channel and get more views. My diagnosis affects me and my health, and in turn Hardtail Party to some degree. And I thought all of you deserve to know what was going on. And my main purpose in this video was to bring awareness to ME/CFS. And hopefully, if someone watching this has ME/CFS, has never studied it, this can help them work towards finding a specialist who can properly diagnose them and help them through it. I wish I'd found this information 5 or 6 years ago. It would have made a massive difference in my life. So I hope this helps somebody out there. Now, I know if you want to know what can you do to help. There are a few things you can do to help. 1, send this video to someone who isn't able to ride their bike as much as they'd like because of health concerns. Hopefully they can feel like they're not alone. 2, send this video to someone you know with ME/CFS. Every time I read a story of how someone else is feeling, it's validating, and I realize I'm not crazy. Yes, we all feel this way. Many people don't take us seriously, but it's real and it's to be taken seriously. 3, let's use the comments section as a way to further educate people about ME/CFS. If you or someone you know has ME/CFS, I'd love to hear in the comments below how it's affected them, what's been helpful for them, and how other people recently diagnosed from this can receive help and support and strength from them. 4, anytime you click on the links in my videos below to purchase something, it costs you nothing, and many times it saves you money, but I get a small commission on them. Here's how YouTube works. A company like, let's say, Hand Up Gloves will say, we'll send you gloves for the year. I want you to represent them and tell people how great they are if you like them. Easy to do. I love Hand Up Gloves, so I wear them everywhere, and I tell people how great they are. When you buy through HandUp's website, HandUp has no clue that you saw it on my channel, so I don't make a cent off of that. When you buy it through my link in the description below, you get a discount, and it tells HandUp, hey, they watch Steve's channel, please keep sending him gloves. And HandUp sends me a couple bucks on the sale of every glove. So it costs you nothing, but it helps support my channel. It's an extra step for you though. It's a pain. You got to find one of my videos and click the link instead of just going to HandUp's website. The same is true for every other link in there. If you shop at Jensen or Worldwide or even Amazon, if you're buying a dishwasher at Amazon and you click my link to my Amazon store before and then search as your normal Amazon search after clicking that link, you get the normal Amazon experience, but I get a tiny, like 0.01% of that sale will go to me. And that's a very small way to help me or any other influencer that you follow. Use the links of your favorite influencers to support them. It takes a little bit of extra time for you, but it really helps them out. And the last thing you can do to help me out is to stay positive and not take for granted your health. Any day on the bike is a good day. Health is a gift and we should always treasure and respect it. I haven't been on a bike in 2 weeks and I miss it immensely. I can't wait to get back in the saddle, but I need to make sure it's the right time. Never take your health for granted or the ability to ride a bicycle in the great outdoors. In closing, I feel extremely fortunate and grateful to all of you. The Hardtail Party community is incredible. I feel like we're family. When I went to Sea Otter this last year and I met so many of you in person, it was absolutely incredible what amazing human beings are out there, part of this community. You guys are wonderful, and it means so much to me that you watch and support this channel. You guys are top-notch quality people, and I really respect you. Thank you for watching the channel and giving my videos thumbs up and sharing them and putting them on message boards and sending them to friends and subscribing and becoming patrons. I'm so grateful for all of you for making it possible for me to be able to support my family doing something that I love so much. Every day I'm hopping on Zoom calls with people from the industry, people designing bikes, people deciding how many water bottles we should have in the next hardtail, people asking who the ideal hardtail buyer is. And most people in the industry do not understand YouTube at all and what's going on here. They don't get what we have. They don't understand the community aspect. They are still stuck in the old mindset of 20 years ago, thinking everyone goes into their bike shop, knows their mechanic by name, gives them a beer on the weekend to tune their derailleur off hours, and that they all go ride together on all these shop rides. They have no clue about the current state of what's going on. They don't know what they're missing either by this amazing community that we have. So many of them are trying to shoehorn their old ways of selling bikes and advertising bikes into YouTube rather than understanding that we've got our own thing going on here that's fantastic and their old ways aren't working here. It's really fascinating. They are clueless. They see dollars and potential sales. I see people to connect with, experiences on the trails, new friends that I haven't ridden with, adventure and exploring together and discovery and fun and partying and enjoyment and connection. Isn't it crazy, this community we've created all around a few metal tubes welded together? We have a community that celebrates together, that encourages each other, that restores mental health and supports each other. And these tiny little bikes, these hardtails, add a little bit of spice and excitement to make our lives even better. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you all for making Hardtail Party what it is and for supporting each other and being so positive in the comments. Here's to many, many more years of exciting hardtail adventures ahead.